Show. Ooh, JJ and Deacon, they're the ones in the know. Subscribe quick, the Squid Monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. Small, yeah.
Are we watching Michael Rappaport get red-pilled in real time? Probably not. Probably not. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I need to put a studio fade on that. It does not turn down on its own. Actually, you know what? I'm not the audio producer around here. That's not my job.
That's my bad. I'll fix that for you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday morning. I'm going to admit we are 1 or 2 minutes late on the show, but we meet here Monday through Friday every week on youtube.com/ your two dads, some shit. I don't know.
Underscore question mark, and then hit the little tilde symbol 3 times, and then hold shift and hit Y.
We drink coffee, we talk about the news and politics and all the important things and everything that you need to know about what just happened in the last day or two, and everything you need to know for the next day or so. That's what we do.
From our twisted opinion that doesn't always match.
Deacon and I are having a discongruence. Isn't that a word?
Ooh, that's a nice word. That's the word of the day. Discongruence. Anytime we say discongruence, scream really loud and you get 1 JJ point.
Sweet. You can turn them in for a plastic octopus. We have those.
We have plastic octopus that you put on your finger.
Oh, yeah. My God. I would love to send those out. That would be great.
We could probably buy those and send those.
You could probably afford that with the budget on this show.
Those toys. Absolutely.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm excited. We're back. It's cold as heck. It's cold as heck here in Texas. I don't know. It just decided to go cold again.
JJ and I are trying to watch our potty mouths.
Trying. I honestly am trying. I'm trying.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Before we can talk about the news and cultural events.
It's chilly in Kentucky today, too. It got up to like 65, close to 70 last week. And they're saying that maybe we'll get some snow tonight. And then it's supposed to be 50 tomorrow and 60 on Wednesday. So,
right.
Yeehaw.
It was sunny and warm. And then my wife and my daughter took their bikes out when I stayed with the other daughter and we played board games. And my wife went out in like a t-shirt and shorts and bike. And they were just like out biking. And while she was biking, cold front came through and she came back to the house. She was like, I'm cold. Well,
it's winter.
Yeah.
It's not even spring yet. All right, that's what I tell my son all the time. He's wearing shorts. I'm like, son, you know the season is winter, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. Okay, whatever. All right. Before we start talking about
all the stuff,
my predictions on the show coming true, I want to get to our song of the day. All
right.
Song of the day this week. Sometimes we do a theme, and we've been doing a theme here recently, so I tried to keep up with the theme. And the only reason I came up with this theme is because also on my radio show at 7:00, I do this little thing called Covered Dish, and it's brought to you by this little local restaurant. And it was an idea that a friend of mine that was like a brother to me. He was a fellow DJ that was like my brother. I'd have done anything for this man. He's not here anymore. He passed away, but it was his idea that when we worked on the station that we never could get sold and never could do. So I do this in honor of him. And it's called the Covered Dish. He was like, man, let's do this thing called the Covered Dish where we get a restaurant to sponsor it and maybe give out some free meals and do cover songs, because we worked on a classic rock radio station at the time. It's like, man, that's a great idea. So me on this classic country, old country radio station, they've got a lot of cover songs. So I was doing some Allman Brothers, some covers of some Allman Brothers, bluegrass covers of Allman Brothers this week. And I thought the song that I played is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think, and I was sitting here as I was listening to the bluegrass version of it, I was thinking, man, this song to me is a perfect piece of music. It's a perfect piece of music. And I was like, let's do that as the theme. I've got 5
perfect songs. Music.
that Deacon,
All
consider
right.
perfect pieces of music. You
Okay.
cannot improve on them anymore to make them any better. That they have achieved the pinnacle. These pieces of music, I'm not going to say songs, I'm saying pieces of music, because the song is great, but this particular piece of music is great. So, all right,
Okay.
I'm going to explain. The song today is the Allman Brothers song in memory of Elizabeth Reed. Now, this song, this perfect piece of music, though, comes from the Second Set album. It's called An Evening with the Allman Brothers Second Set, if you looked it up. And it was live at the R&R Club in June of 92 there in L.A. And it's an acoustic version of In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. There's no drums, which me being a drummer is like, ooh, Allman Brothers had 2 freaking set drummers. But this is a perfect freaking piece of music. It's long, it's like 10 minutes long, but it is wonderful. So check it out. And this week I will have my perfect pieces of music for our songs this
I'm
week.
gonna have to listen to a measure or two of this.
You can't listen to a measure. It's a 10-minute piece of music. It's a
10-minute song.
Probably. It's probably, yeah, like the album version is like 8 minutes long. Dickie Betts wrote this song in he would go to this graveyard in Macon, Georgia, and write. And he was writing a song about a girl that he was having an affair with at the time. And he did not want to tell anyone who the girl was. But so he did not call the song The Girl. But there is a woman buried in that graveyard that was born in 1846 named Elizabeth Reed Napier. And he just wrote In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, and ended up finding out who the song was about. And it was an artist at the time named Boz Scaggs. Have you ever heard Boz Scaggs, Lido Shuffle, and all that?
I've heard that name. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Boz Scaggs' girlfriend that Dickie Betts wrote the song. It's who the song's about, but it's In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, this woman that's buried in this cemetery in Macon, Georgia. You can probably find the name of the cemetery. Her name is Elizabeth Reed Napier.
I think this is an interesting thing about humans. He obviously didn't want people to find out about it, right? Right. But in spite of the fact that he didn't want people to find out about it, he wrote a song about it, and eventually the story got out. So there is a part of your psychology that will actively work against your own intended interests, your own conscious interests. You will at many times in your life torpedo yourself.
Yeah, you do it all the time. The only reason I see you do it all the time is because I do it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it all the time. It's so like, I'm going to get away with this. And then you're literally broadcasting it. You're making, this guy wrote a record in an era where like recording a record is the way to broadcast a message to the world.
Love will make people do strange things. My son and I were talking about songs one time, and he said something about songs written about girls, because we were listening to songs, and like we'd had like a stretch of 3 or 4 songs that was the name of a girl or about a girl, and he said something about all these songs are written about girls, and I went, son, most every song is written about a woman.
Almost everything.
Almost every single piece of
all of them.
Is
it's either written about or because of or to get.
Yeah. A woman has to do with almost every piece of music.
Yeah, it's somehow the motivation. You're either trying to impress one, or you're butt hurt because you couldn't close the deal or something. Emotionally devastated. All right, that's music this morning. Deacon does music every morning, guys. Yeah, every morning. He's a professional DJ. He knows so much. He knows more than you will ever want to know about some of the smallest things about. He knows. So be here for it. It's I can't
remember my kids' birthdays, but I can tell you what some band did in 1974 before I was born.
All right, we're going to have a Wonka John show. Hey, guess what? Yesterday was the Super Bowl. I don't care. I'm sure many of you do care. I don't care. And I'm not going to pretend like I do to talk about it. Maybe Deacon wants to say something about the Super Bowl. I have nothing to say about the Super Bowl.
I have one thing to say about the Super Bowl. We watched it last night, and my son used to be big into sports, and he's not anymore. He likes music, and I was like, hey, man, we got Paramount Plus. We can watch the Super Bowl if you want to. And he's like, I don't care. And we just kind of sat there on the couch and had it on because we wasn't really watching the Super Bowl. We wanted to watch the commercials, and I saw a couple of commercials that I thought the commercials were pretty lackluster this year.
Okay.
All right. And one of them was obviously controversial.
Yeah.
That I didn't think was controversial. And then I'm like, oh, wow, this was controversial. But the one thing that I did want to bring up about the Super Bowl is if you will go back and listen to our Your Two Dads episodes from a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Just go back a couple of months and listen. Just go back to
we
the beginning.
We can't give you the exact episode, so you're just going to have to clock through a couple of them.
Yeah, just go back 2-3 weeks ago. I predicted that the Kansas City would win, and we would get Taylor Swift and Kelsey, whatever his name is, Travis Kelsey or whatever his name is, Kelsey Travis. I don't know what his name is. We would get them a picture of them kissing.
Oh yeah,
for everyone.
Yeah,
because you don't want to piss off the millions and millions of brand new NFL fans this year. Okay. And we all saw him so he got mad after like the first half. He had like one reception for like 10 yards or some shit. And everybody was pissed. And you can even look it up this morning. They're talking about how he made a fool of himself because the camera was, and he was yelling at the coach, just like, put me in, blah, 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 being an asshole last night. Well, and Alex at the first half, my son said, he's only got one reception, 10 yards. They're going to put him in. He's going to catch the winning pass, and, they're going to win the game, and he's going to win the game. That's why he's going to be the savior. And I was like, dude, you nailed it. Oh, it's my son. He's thinking like me. He nailed it. Okay, hang on. Let me put this damn picture down. So we're sitting there watching. He goes to his room to talk to his girlfriend. Me and Ashley are sitting there on the phone, just have it on. What do? They throw him a pass right at the freaking end for him to win the game close to the damn end zone, and he misses it and it goes out of bounds, or he goes out of bounds. So he didn't make it. So they tried it again and he didn't make it. And then what's his name? The quarterback for Kansas City even got bitched out by one of the other players as they were throwing into the end zone because he threw it to Travis Kelsey on the end that had, or whatever his name is, Kelsey.
Trying to make a media moment there.
Who had two defenders, and this receiver was wide the freak open in the middle of the field, in the middle of the freaking end zone. He was wide open and he threw it to, so
they're trying to make a moment on TV that will get replayed and replayed and replayed. And
of course they are. And the only reason my crazy brain believes this is because I'm not a huge NFL fan. Because when I was a huge WWF fan and people tried to tell me that it was scripted and fake, I did not believe it. Do I think everything in the NFL is scripted? No. The athletes for the WWE have to be athletes to get in there. They are unbelievable athletes. Oh my God. Amazing to do. Have you seen luchador wrestling? Jesus, that's the craziest shit in the world. My God, you've got to be a freaking unbelievable athlete.
Right.
The same is for the NFL, the NBA, baseball, all absolutely. That. Right? You've got to be unbelievable athletes. But that doesn't. For me to believe that the millionaires that are betting multiple millions of dollars are going to let a game of chance, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. There is little bitty pieces that they're saying, okay, at one point you're going to do this. At one point you're going to do this. And they try to do that. And if it don't happen, they adjust their plays. I mean, even Alex, we were talking about the Titans last night, and the Titan, he was like, yeah, they said that they were going to have a losing season so that they could get preferential draft picks, And I'm like, and you just said they were going to have a losing season so they can get draft picks, so they can get the preferential draft. How is that not scripted? It's like Major League.
I don't know. All I know is that if it seems like there's a story and some sort of a drama there, like some sort of a narrative, like, oh, this is a good guy or the bad guy or the thing, then if it seems like there's a story being told, then you're being told a story. So it doesn't.
I know.
It doesn't.
I'm a storyteller.
So like wrestlers can be tremendous athletes, and yet you being told a story, which means that there's some sort of a hocus pocus fraud happening in front of you.
I think that's why maybe I see all this crap. You know, you've pointed that out before in the show. You're like, dude, you're looking at this through a storyteller's lens. And I'm like, okay, maybe you're right. I'm inventing shit and coming up with this big
it's our impulse.
story.
It's our impulse to understand things. That's how we do. That's how we understand. That's how we learn things. You're told the stories. You're told stories when you're a kid. You tell stories when you're older. And that's how we kind of relate to experiences around us.
Humans have passed on stories as for history as well, you know?
Yeah.
Throughout history,
yes.
We pass along stories to keep our history alive.
Right. And, you know, you're
right. This is a good story. It's a narrative. It's bread and circus, because now that this is over with, we're fixing to get into March. So we have March Madness.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of basketball. So when the end of basketball is done, we don't have any more gladiatorial fights. Our next gladiatorial fight in April, what starts in April? Baseball, Major League Baseball. And then we'll go all the way to September and October. And then what do we start up again in September and October, JJ? The National Football League. We've got hockey. We've got NBA.
Harrison Stonehouse, thanks for hanging out. I don't know what you're no weighing, but no way indeed. I have I
agree.
No way.
I think I'm a dumbass.
No way.
Whatever you're disagreeing with what I said with, you are exactly right.
All right. Let's talk about some things that I am interested in. And so before we move off of the Super Bowl, because I don't care about the Super Bowl, there were some ads, right? And the only ads that I know of that I cared about so far were the Deadpool trailer, which looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then there was he gets us.
There was a new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer.
Oh, was there really? I think I saw it mentioned on Twitter, but I didn't chase it down because I thought that those movies were done and they were good. But I thought they were done. Is it like another one of those with Andy Serkis as an ape?
I don't know if Andy Serkis is an ape, but it's another one of those, and it looked pretty awesome.
Andy Serkis is like 50-something years old. You think he's getting tired of squatting down in a green suit and being like, you know what I mean? Like he's an older guy.
As somebody that does like character voices, and I don't do character that crap, but I've done character voices and stuff before, and he's the top of the top for me.
Oh, he's amazing.
So much.
I mean, he was Gollum, right? But for him to play Gollum, he was in like a tiny suit and like erased it.
No, but go back and watch the scene in Lord of the Rings where Gollum is arguing with his self, with his other personality. And don't watch it. Close your eyes and listen to his voice, his vocal differences.
I honestly have.
You can hear the change. You don't even have to watch it to know which is which, because he still got the Gollum voice.
Right.
But he's going between. My voice is dry as hell right now. But he's still going between. But he's good. He's one of the best.
I honestly have not seen that trailer at all. Maybe we'll watch it. I don't know.
But I don't know if he's in it.
Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff here. I saw this morning, and I think this is interesting. Maybe you don't. Michael Rappaport, the comedian, you can use quotes around that if you want to. Professional entertainer, we'll say.
He will forever to me be known as Earl's friend, and my name is Earl.
Oh, don't you long for them simpler days when
I can't remember his name right now in Earl.
Michael Rappaport admits he helped spread the Trump Charlottesville very fine people hoax. I was wrong. So do you know about the Charlottesville very fine people hoax? Do you know what this is about?
No,
Okay.
I did not know what this was. I saw this and I was like, I'm just gonna let JJ tell me and he can get my
So
reaction.
it was
live.
like it was like 2015, 2016, something like that. There were protests in Charlottesville. You may remember the tiki torches. You remember the tiki torch kind of protests or whatever. And there were, you don't remember that? Okay. Well, there were people at this protest, and then there were counter protesters. Some of them were, look, I'm not defending anybody. Certainly not. Some of them were probably like racist. Some of them were thinking they were fighting anti-racist. Some of them were calling the others Nazis or whatever. And the story was promulgated by the media that Donald Trump, commenting on this kind of protest between Nazis and not Nazis, the story was that Donald Trump said there's very fine people on both sides, but that wasn't what happened. The media took a speech and he was talking about people at the protest for and against the issue, not Nazis and not Nazis. And he said that there were fine people on both sides of the issues, not the Nazis. I'm not talking about them. But the media clipped that shit out. And so it just sounded like Donald Trump was talking about Nazis are cool. And then they ran with it for a while, and it was a hoax. And Michael Rappaport fell for it hook, line, and sinker, and ran his mouth and basically accelerated this bullshit. And so, do you not know this?
I would not have ever guessed that a Mensa member like Michael Rappaport would have believed something like that and then used what little Z-list celebrity status he had to elevate.
But
that.
like, it's
That's
not
crazy.
This is exactly the thing. It's not his fault. He's emotional and exacerbated and whatever, but it's not his fault, because how are you supposed to know?
Star like he is, he would be emotional. I mean, he's got his job at McDonald's, and then he's got the shift at Whole Foods that he picked up for Larry.
How are you supposed to know you're being lied to when you're being lied to by CNN? How are you supposed to know?
It's true. It's very true. It's very true. When you've got when you've got all the major media outlets all repeating the same narrative, and you have all of the talking heads on the TV repeating the same phrases over and over again that we've seen them say stuff on these different topics. I agree. And I'm poking fun at Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
He's probably not a dumb guy. I was just poking fun at him. I think he's a great. I loved Frank on My Name Is Earl.
You remembered his name,
and he's been in a lot of other stuff too. I think he was in. Was he in Band of Brothers, or he was in some war movie?
Was he really?
Or some war thing that I can remember. I'm really thinking Saving Private Ryan or something like that. I mean, he's a good actor, so it's good to see that he's actually been like, oh my God, those people weren't crazy. We were lied to. He was lied to by everyone. How are you not supposed to believe that? That's why everybody thinks I'm crazy, is because this
known for. Oh no, sir. I don't know about Band of Brothers, but he is definitely known for True Romance and Deep Blue Sea. He was in Deep Blue Sea, that movie where Samuel L. Jackson got bitten in half by a shark, right as he was giving a speech. We're gonna fight that shark. He was bit in half. Okay, well, anyway, so Michael Rappaport was on this podcast, and now Michael Rappaport, for those of you guys barely know who this guy is, this dude hates Donald Trump, hates the dude, calls him
back in the day, it was bad,
calls him some words, but he's having his disdain for Donald Trump be encountered with like some facts about reality, and he's come around to he may not vote for Donald Trump, but he definitely says he will not vote for Joe Biden. So I'm gonna just
at
this
least
is
he
just
doesn't
a
want to
second
turn my
here.
boy into a girl.
At least he's normal.
Well,
yes,
at least he doesn't want to turn my boy into a girl.
Yeah.
At least he's defending Israel, not the fucking terrorists. And at the end of the day, I'm a reasonable person.
Yeah.
So like you said initially, I think I'm going to consider this.
Oh, I'm considering it.
Yes.
But to pull that, well, I don't know. We don't pull levers anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, pull that lever.
Yeah, but pulling the lever for Biden.
And then
I'm going to tell you right now, I won't vote. I'm not voting for Biden.
No.
I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not, you know.
But then you can't talk shit. And you need to be able to talk shit.
Well, wait a minute.
So he may not vote for Donald Trump, but he will not vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. So is I think maybe Michael is on the road to getting red-pilled. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I've got somebody he can vote for.
Oh.
So going back to the Super Bowl, one thing that I didn't even bring up, and I thought, man, that's interesting. And now as I'm looking for it this morning, I'm seeing stories on it. He could vote for Robert Kennedy because Robert Kennedy had an ad during the Super Bowl last night.
Did he now?
Oh my God. Let me see if this is the ad. Let me bring this up because I was just sitting there not paying attention. When the ad came on, it instantly got my attention. I sat there and watched it, and I thought, that's a pretty damn genius ad that only he could do.
Okay.
All right. Let me see if this is it.
Play it.
Oh, what the hell? All right. So he's apologizing. He's apologizing for the ad. Let me find the ad.
Look it up on YouTube. You probably are getting an ad blocker getting you.
Not it. Let me write Super Bowl ad.
They might not have it up. They might have taken it down.
Was it something incendiary?
No. This is it. All right. I don't know if it's the whole thing. Yeah, it's probably the whole thing. All right, here we go. Let me pull this back up for you. This instantly got my attention last night as it popped up on the screen.
You have my attention now.
All right. And
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through? A man who's old enough to know and young enough to do? Well, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. American Value 2024 is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
It tells you absolutely nothing about Kennedy other than it.
And that was a film. You seen it was filmed. Somebody was filming their TV.
Oh,
because he's taking it down. You can't find it on YouTube.
Seriously?
Because this is the story that came up this morning was Robert Kennedy apologizes for vintage 1960, apologizes to family.
Why?
I don't know. It just came up. I just saw it just a second ago.
Oh, okay.
It's making me pay to go to that site. I'll have to look it up later and we can talk about it. But that's interesting. Hey, I tell you what, I'll find it and put it on our Discord server. So you have to go there to find it. It's above JJ's beanie.
Robert Kennedy apologizes to family after Super Bowl ad copies JFK's famous campaign. So that was some sort of a copy of. Well, I mean, look, dude,
of course it was. That's why I said only he could.
You're Robert F. Kennedy.
Because it was
literally running on your. You're running on his name. You are and you're making it 1960. It's like, oh yeah, it's like Camelot.
If I had a 60-year-old freaking song from one of the most famous presidents in the United States, I would get it. Kennedy. I would use that. That's audio engineer gold right there. When I heard that, I was like, this is great. Maybe perfect.
Maybe there's some things that I could like agree with Kennedy on or something. I don't know, but like
I'm just offering it for Michael.
My impulse is that the dude's a loser. Like he's not going to win. He can't win. I don't think he can win. So whatever.
All right, let's talk about this other bad story.
Which other bets? We got a bunch of stuff. Let's talk about something else. Let me throw Michael Rappaport away. And you know what? I hope Michael gets red-pilled. I don't know. We got some other crazy stuff. A few days ago, Joe Biden warned Israeli President Netanyahu on a phone call against attacking Rafah without a civilian plan. There was some like plan to go into Rafah in the Gaza Strip, and Joe Biden gets on the phone and he says, "Hey, Netanyahu, you can't go in there without permission or whatever." And so Netanyahu said, "Whatever the fuck, I can do what I want. I got people in there, and I'm gonna go get them." So a couple days after that phone call, let's see. Here's the story on the phone call, where Biden warns Netanyahu in phone call against attack in Rafah. It turns out that Netanyahu totally ignored him and rescued 2 hostages from Rafah after Biden said, "Don't go in there." So a 60 and 70-year-old man who were taken hostage on the October 7th attack. First of all, it's been like 3 months since then. I'm honestly shocked that they're alive and haven't been like beaten and killed or whatever. These 2 men, 60 and 70-year-old men, have been rescued by Israeli forces and pulled out of Gaza. And there's this other story about this. We don't really talk a whole lot about Israel or Palestine because whatever. It doesn't involve me. I don't want to send money over there. I don't know what's going on.
You do, and it does. It doesn't involve you. It does involve you. You don't want to send money. You do send money.
Yeah, right.
You just out of sight, out of mind. We don't want to talk about it because it's on the other side of the world, but it still affects us.
I mean, it does, but I'm not intricately knowledgeable about Israeli politics, about Palestinian politics, or whatever. I mean, all I know is that there's a country called Israel, and there's people that want to destroy that, and there's people that claim that there's a country called Palestine. And whatever, I don't know. Like it starts to get into this quagmire of like, I'm not my stuff,
dude.
Well,
do you know? I was explaining to Alex one day because we were talking about that what's going on over there when it was starting, and I was trying to explain it to him so that he would understand. He's 15 years old, and I was like, that stretch of land. If you don't know where the Gaza Strip is, look on a map, and then look how it is the end of the line for that sea, that bay.
Yep.
That piece of land has been fought over forever since water was there, because that's where the ships would dock, and that is where all of the trade routes would start to go everywhere, all over Asia, all into Europe, all up into where Russia is now. Those trade routes, and they would come back to there to go out to the sea into the ocean.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
place is it's been fought over. That stretch of land's been fought over since humans discovered it.
Yeah.
So
we did not cover this story on this show a couple weeks ago, but you know that there is an organization inside the UN called the UNRWA. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency. This is the group, the subsidiary of the United Nations that delivers like food and relief to the refugees in Gaza. Okay. Turns out that this organization, as part of the United Nations, had suspected terrorists in it that were funneling these resources from the United Nations to Hamas. Hamas, terrorist organization, United Nations, that the United States pays for, right? So our money was literally going through this little group and into Hamas, which is then used to kill people. Well, that's as much as I understand of it. Israel reveals that Hamas had an intel tunnel underneath the UNRWA headquarters in Gaza. So literally, the terrorists had a tunnel right up under the butt of the United Nations, which I think is crazy. So Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Other than like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if there's a terrorist tunnel right underneath the United Nations? Well, there was, and they were. I don't know what they were doing down there. Okay.
Hey, I got one for you talking about
yes.
Joe Biden. I brought this up in our general chat in our Discord server. If you would like to go and see it, but let me give you a little. Since we were talking about history a minute ago, let me give you another history lesson. Long time ago, Britain had all these different colonies all over the place. They still do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, franchises.
Yeah, they're little franchises. Britain had all these franchises. And one of their franchises was this huge, giant swath of land with all of these deadly creatures on it out in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere. And all of their prisons and stuff started getting really, they had criminals there. They were like, what the hell are we going to do with these guys? And somebody was
a lot of criminals here.
Why don't we send them to Australia? Why don't we send them down there to that land? It wasn't called Australia then. So they did. And I'm not, this is history. Look that shit up. Wikipedia, Australia.
It's
okay.
True.
And I'm giving you history. All right. So that is one. Cuba back in the 80s sent a bunch of their criminals to the United States back in the 80s. Well, now that the United States has open borders.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
let me just show you a picture here. Let me show you this video. You see all these guys? You see all these people?
Yeah.
These are not refugees.
Not refugees.
Africa is currently emptying their prisons because they're completely overpopulated prisons in Africa. And Africa is currently just emptying their prisoners and sending their asses to Mexico.
Are you okay? First of all, I do not know that those are not actually Mexicans. They might be.
Okay, you're right.
So, right. I mean, I cannot personally attest to the authenticity of that footage. Right. They might be Mexican.
That would be us racially
profiling.
Right.
But the story is that Africa is like, you know what's cheaper than housing prisoners? Send them to Mexico on the border. That's the story. How likely? Come on, African countries wouldn't do that to us, right?
Dude, they once again, humans have been doing that crap for a long time. Humans have been doing crap like that for a long time. What's the story? What's the story in the Middle Ages about sending the you would take when the old people realized they were too old to help out in society, they would send them off to an island to die. They're like, get your ass out of here. You're a burden. Really? We're having. That was like one of the old Middle Ages. I don't know if it was true or not, but it's something. Yeah, something that's popped up in my damn memory. So you'll have to look that up and prove me wrong. Google that stuff and then go and like and subscribe to Your Two Dads and comment.
Ooh, what a good. Oh my God.
I'm learning from the master.
Real fucking cold outside. I think hell froze over. Okay. All right. Hey, we had some bad news in my town this weekend. A crazy woman was shot and killed at Joel Osteen's church, and a child and adult were wounded. Some crazy woman showed up with like a long gun at Lakewood Church here in Houston, well down there in Houston, and a shooter at Lakewood Church was.
Is that the same church that wouldn't let anybody in when the place was flooding years ago? I'm seriously asking the question. I thought it was Joel Osteen's church that did not let anybody in to help the refugees when it was flooding.
I think that might be true. That might be true. A shooter at Lakewood Church was reportedly stopped by Harris County Sheriff's deputy working security at the church. There were 3 deputies on the premises, and this woman showed up with a long gun, and she shot and she a long gun and a child, like a 5-year-old kid.
What? Really?
Yeah, I think
I didn't
so.
hear that.
Yeah. The shooter allegedly opened fire in the church lobby. The outlet noted that the witness indicated that the shooter was probably female. And then let's see. I don't want to place any. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But sheriff's deputy dispensed jelly beans at her and put her down. So
I'm glad nobody in the church was hurt.
well, there was a man, a 57-year-old man. He got shot in the leg, and then the kid was hurt.
Oh.
And let's see, it was a 4 or 5-year-old kid, and the kid I think was brought in by the woman. So, yeah. Now there was a suggestion initially that she had a bomb, but no bomb was found. I think they were looking for a man as well. I don't know if there was a second suspect, and there was a suggestion on by social media somewhere that okay, it's possible that this is just a crazy deranged person doing crazy deranged people things, which is fine, which is not fine, but it happens. It happens that crazy people do crazy stuff, and then good people with guns stop them from doing any more crazy stuff. That's possible. Another suggestion was offered is that, we've had 10 million people cross the border. This could be like a domestic terror incident type thing. So, and if there is, we're looking at more of those.
Option 3 could be this is a person that really doesn't like that was damaged by the church and or Joel Osteen, because I'm not a fan of Joel Osteen personally, but she could have been one of those people that's unhinged.
Yeah.
And was personally, who knows? It's terrible.
I honestly,
I
don't want to make her famous, but I do want to know that, if it's just an unhinged crazy person, okay, that's fine. Let us know that. But if it's this person was actually from another country and here on a mission, I want to know that. If that's what it was. You bring up a very good point by saying that, because we have turned into a society where, and I can see why we did this. It was a nice gesture to start with, but it's not working, because we were we don't want to vilify these people. Dylan Klebold and whatever his name was. We knew their names, and they were famous after they did all that shit at Columbine, and they didn't want to do that anymore. So they stopped releasing their names, or they stopped saying their names and stuff like that. And then you just, like the old saying says, out of sight, out of mind. So you lose track on why these people done the things they did. Okay. The kid that shot up the high school here in my old high school, the reason he did that, from what I've been told by very reliable sources, was nuts. And no one ever freaking heard about what was the true overall reason why he did this. And they don't want to do it because we don't want to make them famous. No, I'm not trying to make them famous. We're trying to understand what freaking ticks in their freaking head, what set this off. Right. Are they a lunatic, or did they have a catalyst to start this? And if they did, either one of those, let's get to the bottom of it, because this shit's got to stop. If this is a person who got involved in some community and was radicalized and programmed and brainwashed or whatever, we should know that so that we can stop that from happening. And or alternatively, if this is a person who is just crazy and they thought that by doing this, they could call down the Raelians and resurrect,
we seriously be looking into our freaking, we should know how we help our people that's got mental illness. Right. There's always, but we're not going to do any of this.
I mean, but understand, guns. Oh, guns kill people. Guns don't kill people. Crazy people kill people with guns or anything else. If crazy people don't have guns. We covered stories on this show in this last year about mass stabbings, right? We've covered all other kinds of ways that crazy people just do crazy stuff. So, it's not guns, it's crazy people. And maybe we need to have a way to hey, this person over here is acting a little crazy, could be a public danger. Maybe we look at them a little closely. So, all right.
Since we're talking about guns, you want to hit this last story real quick?
I do want to. have you ever heard the? Of course you have. Remington. The name of Remington.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously, immediately think Remington Steele. I think the TV show from the 1980s.
That's the how. Wow.
No. A small New York village made guns for 2 centuries. So what happens when Remington leaves New York? Because New York ain't a safe place for Remington to live anymore. Remington began here in 2 centuries ago. Dude, can you just imagine? We've been in business for 200 years and we got run out of state. We got run out of state. We've been here almost as long as the entire country, but we can't stay here. Residents of Ilion are bracing for Remington's exit, ending an era that began when okay, this is an unfortunate name. Eliphalet.
Eli.
Eliphalet.
My God, his name is Eli.
Remington forged his first rifle barrel in 1816. The nation's oldest gun maker recently announced plans to shutter the factory in the company's home early next month, citing the steep cost of running a very, very, very old plant. And Remington is consolidating its operations in Georgia, a state the company says is friendlier to the firearms industry. So, good job, New York. I'm sure you guys are going to be way, way safer without a gun manufacturer there.
Eliphalet.
It almost looks like elephant.
It does really look like elephant.
My name's Eliphalet Remington. Is Elephant Remington here?
Dude was like 20 years old and decided that he could build a better gun than the crap that he could buy.
Amazing.
And he did.
That's crazy. I'm 40
years old.
Years old. I don't know how to forge a barrel. How do you forge a barrel? How do you do that? I don't know.
I'd have to look it up on YouTube, and he didn't have YouTube in
right.
1516.
Like, okay, you're going to take like a piece of metal and you're going to turn it into a barrel. How do you do that?
But as a historian there, how do you do that? In 1816, you could probably find several people that knew how to do that.
I guess. I don't know how to do it.
Blacksmithing and stuff. As the same for like in the 1500s, you could probably toss a rock and find a blacksmith to fix your armor or your sword or your freaking saddle or some shit, leather worker. A smith. How many Smiths are there, JJ? Where do you think their name came from? Their ancestor was a worker of some sort.
I know, but you forge with a hammer, right? So I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm totally ignorant of
you need to watch some TV shows.
Forging barrels.
You need to watch Forged in Fire.
All right. Well, there used to be 1,300 people that worked in this town 10 years ago, and now there's 300, and now there's going to be 300 without a job. Good job, New York. And Georgia probably says,
where did the Remington factory move to?
Yeah, Georgia. I don't know where
it moved to Georgia.
Yeah, it's going to Georgia.
Well, there's way to go, Georgia. The South, y'all got some jobs.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to talk travel news? I know you've traveled before, and it's something we talk about, especially flying. We talk about that pretty regularly here on the show. We've both been on big trips before. We went to New York together once, and this year I recently flew to Tennessee. I've never flown on an airplane where a person erupted blood and died on the airplane. It's never happened to me.
That was the perfect word. I was like, that pregnant pause, and I was like, what word is JJ going to use to describe this story? Ashley sent me this story last night.
Crazy. What happened to this guy?
She sent me, it was just a screenshot from somebody's ex, one of those ex people she follows. And it was a screenshot of that right there.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, JJ's gonna love this one.
What just happened?
I was like, where the hell website is this? Australia.eu. What? And I was like, I gotta find this shit. So I scoured that Australian news website and I found this for you. Just for you. This is my present to you.
Passenger dies mid-flight after liters of blood spurts from the face. Do you know how much blood liters is? That must be a euphemism, right? Like I can imagine somebody coughing up blood and cough, it'll splatter a little bit. Liters is a lot. Liters is a lot. A passenger horrifically died mid-flight after liters of blood began erupted. Oh, they used the word erupting too, from his mouth and spurted all over the seats and walls. 63-year-old German passenger who's not been named was visibly ill when he boarded a Lufthansa flight in Bangkok, Thailand. The man was traveling with his wife on a 12-hour flight to Munich.
Wait. As you're describing this, I want our viewers to imagine that JJ is describing the beginning of a video game about the apocalypse.
Honestly,
okay? Keep reading.
First of all,
this is a video game about the start of the apocalypse.
This is how it happens. His condition rapidly deteriorated as he experienced cold sweats and began breathing very quickly. Flight attendants called for medical professionals on board to help the plane, with a young doctor reportedly stepping forward to assist. But after checking his pulse, he declared, hey, he's fine. This guy's fine. That should be fired because that guy was not fine.
Nope.
They gave him some chamomile tea, but he had already spit blood into a bag that his wife held out to him. It was horrible. This is awful. This is horrible.
I couldn't have wrote this. This is perfect story. They gave him chamomile tea for Christ's sake.
Have a little tea.
Keep reading.
Do good. Those bloody Germans, sir. Self-deprecating humor, I see. All right. Flight attendants aboard the plane performed CPR for like 30 minutes, but to no avail. The man went still. It was dead quiet on board. Mr. Misfender's wife, Karen, told the outlet. His wife said it was dead quiet on board. A pun? What? What is she doing? Oh my gosh. The captain announced the death of the passenger as staff carried the man into the galley of the plane. Is the galley of the plane just the part where they have the coffee and cookies and stuff, or is it like downstairs?
Maybe. I think that's I don't know.
All right. The flight deck was forced to turn back to Thailand, and then anyway, whatever. They had to go back. While back in Bangkok, passengers claimed they had to wait for 2 hours without any guidance from Lufthansa before they were booked onto another flight to Germany with a stopover in Hong Kong. They're complaining. Folks,
look,
that guy just
all those
died.
people right now, their faces are going to erupt in blood here in like 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. Did you read? Where does it say where blood was spurting everywhere? It was on the walls. It was on the floor.
Oh yeah, no, it says it was. It says
he didn't just have like a nosebleed.
Oh yeah, I skipped that sentence. It says they gave him some chamomile tea. Moments later, blood started spurting out of his nose and mouth.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a nosebleed,
like squirt, cough, squirt.
So can you imagine the rest of the passengers after what you just saw? And then you didn't get to the last part of the story. Was
did they tell you what did it? Why?
This is the funny part though. Where did I put that?
I mean, like
where did I put that?
There's weird.
Bring it back up.
Yeah, okay. There's weird stuff killing people right now, y'all.
I thought I tagged you in it. Oh, reasons not to fly. Oh, here. The bottom of it, because you said the passengers were mad because they had to wait 2 hours without any guidance before they were booked to another flight to Germany. The worst part, the man's wife now had to go through customs alone. She stood there all alone and apathetic and had to endure all of the formalities. They treated her just like everybody else.
Right.
And then this guy's like, I should have intervened. The man looked so bad, blah, blah, blah. The passengers of the lane were left traumatized after the horrifying ordeal. Nobody looked after us. We waited 2 hours. There was nobody to care, no care team there. Nobody, he said. We had to go to a counter right here. We all had to go to a counter where we received a 10 franc voucher, $17.50.
Yeah, they got a $20 voucher for their inconvenience.
Sorry that the guy next to you spurted blood all over the seat and walls and horrified your 3-year-old daughter.
That plane needs to be burned. Honestly, and it reminds me, there was a TV show, like, I don't know, probably like 6 years ago. I'm gonna have to remember what it was. And it started, the series of the TV show started with the plane incident, not unlike this.
Oh, there's been a couple of those like that ever since Lost.
Yeah.
There's been a couple. I watched one on Netflix called I'd have to go back and rewatch all of them now because a new season came out and I saw it the other day. I can't remember the name of it, but these people were on an airplane. They disappeared and they all thought they were dead. And then the airplane lands and it's 5 years later and everybody's all freaking. It's a really interesting story. It's kind of cool.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it real quick.
That one's on Netflix. I don't know what it's called.
I guess I'm not gonna find it real
You're
quick.
not gonna find it.
Anyway, okay. Well, that was a bummer. Hey, it's 9:00, dude. Well, maybe we'll watch those trailers tomorrow. We got a Deadpool trailer and I guess an ape trailer. I didn't watch those yet.
I didn't watch. I've seen the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes one, but I didn't watch the Deadpool.
Well, I've seen that
it was just Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yeah,
the commercial on the Super Bowl was just him. It was at the beginning, and it was just him, and he was talking about blah 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 and saying this, and in Deadpool fashion, and he said that, and then it's like the trailer drops now. Zigzag on the bag.
How's
What's
it going?
That is the coolest damn name
says,
that I have heard in a long time.
Great stream, bro. Zigzag one gang. Okay.
Dude,
okay.
that is the coolest name. Zigzag on the bag. That sounds like something you'd say to your buddy. Like, what's up, JJ?
Zigzag on the bag.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I truly love that. I'm not
watching,
being an asshole.
He's watching on
that.
Twitch. I told you we should just keep the stream up on Twitch. He said, "Oh, try Kick." And I said, "What's Kick?"
I don't even know what Kick is. Why are you attributing that shit to me?
Back on Twitch. All right. All right, guys. Hey, as we're obligated to do at the end of every single show, he's a dad. I'm a dad. This is the Your Two Dads show, and we're going to tell.
He's a dad. I'm a dad.
Dad jokes.
We're dads. We're dad. Sorry. I have not yet watched Good Burger 2. Is it any good? Has anybody watched it? I want to see
Good
it.
Burger 2.
Good Burger. Have you never watched Good Burger with Keenan and Kel? Oh, dude, I've seen that movie 1,000 times. That was a staple in our house.
I bet you have.
I haven't seen part 2. It's awesome.
Deke, when does a joke become a dad joke?
When it's apparent.
When its punchline is apparent. Okay. I think I've said that one before.
Yeah.
How about this? What does a rain cloud wear under his slicker?
I don't know.
Thunderwear.
Look, we really need to get you more dad jokes.
Pretty sure I'm almost at the end of
stack
the box here.
that you bought at the Goodwill. Because these are all bad, dude.
Not good.
These are all bad. All right.
What you got?
Well, you threw me off. I was going to tell a railroad joke, but I lost my train of thought.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Oh, I have no audio. Do you have audio? My bad.
No.
Shit. Hold on. Of course.
Look, there's that one guy clapping.
Well, I was going to play our song, but if I can't play audio, I can't play our song. I guess I can do this. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with more great and important news to set your
clock to. Tune in now to Your Two Dads show.
Man, I want to play it.
DJ and Deacon are the ones in the know.
There it is. JJ and Deacon, they're the ones that know. Subscribe quick. The squid monster's on the way.
Here we go.
Inspire with us. Tomorrow's news today. Oh, yeah. Subscribe.
Come over to the Discord server. Listen to my music.
Oh, I'm working on a new song today, Deke.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's going to be great.